In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly why getting your meta ads objective is crucial to making or breaking your business. And this has come from honestly like 13 years experience in e-commerce business. I co-founded ecommercebrand with my brother in 2013. We left our corporate jobs, started a cold pressed juice cleansing company from the kitchen bench. And in the last couple of years, I've helped over 200 e-commerce brands scale to their record revenue months, whether it's their first 10K all the way up to 100K. And the success of those couple of hundred brands I've actually worked with is certainly through meta ads. In between my e-commerce business and also helping other brands, I did run a little ads agency, and we actually managed literally in the account about 100 e-commerce brands ads as well in Meta. So spending tens of thousands of dollars a month within Meta ad accounts. Okay, so I was physically myself managing those ads as well as obviously the ones for Karmic as well. So I've seen a lot. I've seen the journey of how Meta ads has actually developed, been through algorithmic changes, been through privacy changes with Apple and iOS and all these other things. And still to this day, we see challenges with the platform where something will change on a whim, or there's a lot of ups and downs with performance. And we just need to know kind of what's normal during those periods of time, but also what we can and can't control. So something I want to talk through today is something that we can control and something that is very, very, very important. I'll talk about why it is and the evidence that I've got basically behind it. So this is something that we call the campaign objective. So if you're running meta ads, you should be doing it through the business ads manager, business.facebook.com, and you should have connected your page and your ad account for your business into that platform. Okay. Now, when you go and actually create an ad, you go to the top left, you go create new ad, and it will ask you what objective you would like to set for your campaign. Now, there's a difference between logic in this circumstance and practice. Let's start with the logic. Logic will tell us, especially if we're new, or we just want to get volume, or we just want to get awareness of our brand, that something along the lines of engagement on the ad, traffic to our website, or even literally awareness you can do as an objective, logical objectives to have for our ads. Okay. Now, what this says to us is basically, yes, we want more awareness, we want engagement, we want people to see us, and therefore volume of people seeing us will result in more sales. Logic. Even to the point of traffic. Okay. And this is something that'll come from, meta representatives themselves. I've had conversations on calls dozens of times about meta representatives saying, okay, what you need to do is actually get more engagement, get more awareness, and drive more traffic to your site. Let's just get people to the site. Then, as logic says, you can then retarget those people, and by retargeting those people, they'll go to your website again and they will actually purchase, and you'll get the return on your money. Practically, that is completely different. Logically, it honestly, even in my mind, 13 years on of running ads, makes sense. Volume of traffic, higher volume of traffic, cheaper traffic, and then go and retarget them and get more affordable cost per acquisitions. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit analytical here. So just a bit of data. So the way that we can look at these things in terms of cost of advertising and therefore cost of driving website traffic. Okay, so there's something there we look at called cost per 1,000 impressions, CPMs. That is your first metric that you look at. So with an engagement, with an awareness, with a traffic campaign objective, that is going to be a lot cheaper than other objectives that I'm actually going to talk about, because it's an affordable way to run campaigns. Okay, it's going to a lot more people for a lot cheaper. That actually flows down the funnel where you do get cheaper clicks, cheaper website visitors, basically. Okay, then I'll talk about the next stage in a second, how they actually compare. That gives you some context. So that's the logic. We want cheaper traffic, cheaper engagement, cheaper basically awareness about our business. Super logical. Now, what isn't logical is the next phase of what I'm going to talk about, which is what you exactly need to do. Okay, ignore the awareness, ignore the engagement, ignore the traffic campaigns. We want to go straight to a sales objective. Now, that is just literally says sales, and then on the ad set or within the campaign, you can actually choose the optimization event. Don't worry about if that goes above your head, but basically that means is, well, if we're going for sales, what do we actually want to optimize for? And you can work again along the chain of events. So an event is something like they visit your website, they add to your cart, they go to checkout, or they actually purchase. no matter how new or old or how long you've been running ads or how much you've spent or how little, you want to do a sales objective to an optimization event of purchase. That is our end goal. We want to optimize for that, okay? Now, before I kind of delineate between the two I mentioned before, I want to tell you even just within the sales objective, how different it can be. So again, just having conversations with Meta and spending tens of thousands on testing over and over and over, I've proven wrong the logic versus the practice, okay? So let me use the example of running a sales objective to an add to cart versus a sales objective to a purchase. Now, again, logically says it's like, let's move people and we want to get people up the funnel. So let's start with a landing page views, or let's start a view content, or let's start with an add to cart optimization event. And then, the numbers will grow and the algorithm will learn about who it wants to go after. And eventually people we can get sales from, basically, or we can change the objective. Completely incorrect. It's completely backward. We want to optimize for the event that we want to go to at the end of the day. Okay. And I'll use this example. So we have, as I say, tested the sales to add to cart, sales to purchases at different times because you don't want them to override each other or compete with each other. So the first one, the sales objective to the add to cart, that is basically got lower cost per impressions than the sales to purchase. Okay. So cheaper cost to advertise. It got cheaper clicks to our website, cheaper traffic, like that's tick number 2. And then it did get add to carts. Okay. In this circumstance, we actually got over about a week, we got, even a week, we probably got like 90 to 100 add to carts. Okay, cool. 90 to 100 add to carts. You've got an abandoned cart rate of about 68%. They're going to tip over the edge and they're actually going to purchase. In this case, this is just the most recent case, 0 purchases from those 90 to 100 add to carts. Okay, so we got no purchases from that whatsoever. All right. So what we decided to do is, okay, test case number 1, test case number 2, the sales to the purchase objective, our end result. So our cost per impressions, our CPMs were higher than our initial campaign. That's, a cross, let's call it. Our traffic was more expensive. That's a secondary cross. But we got about 30 add to carts. Okay, so again, kind of a cross from our tick points, I guess you could say, where it was less than the previous objective. But we got about 6 purchases from that. So we converted at a really healthy rate. Like that's a 30%. So that was a 30% conversion rate. Okay, whereas the previous campaign had 90 or 100 add to carts and it got a 0% conversion rate. So it actually achieved its goal of getting sales through the door because we instructed it to do so. Now, bear in mind, we spent the same amount on each campaign. We got cheaper clicks, cheaper impressions, right? Cheaper to advertise on the first one, way more add to carts, no sales. We spent the same amount, more expensive to advertise, more expensive to get traffic to our site, but we actually converted at a decent rate. Now, the reason this was the case is because when it comes back to the actual objective, what you're telling Facebook to do, it is very, very, very good at doing that, at achieving its goal. So in the circumstance of saying sales objective to add to cart, it was literally going after people who it knew added to cart, window shoppers that add to cart. They may, add to cart on a certain site and then they, go off, or they sign up to the email list and they want discounts and they never actually purchase. It knows those people, so it stops its searching when it goes to people who habitually add to cart as a behavior. However, when you say, I want to go after sales, it has all these data points on people that have bought online even recently or in last week or last 7 days or last 30 days. It has 55,000 touch points on every single person's profile. So it knows very, very well who these people are that are most likely to purchase or most likely to just add to cart, most likely just come to your website, most likely just engage, which is those other objectives that I spoke about earlier. And so we don't mind if the cost to advertise is more expensive or the cost per clicks are higher. That simply means, from all of our experience and all the brands that I've worked with, probably 500 at this point, that those people it's going after are harder to access, more expensive, but they are way higher intent and most likely to actually purchase at the end of the day. So your objective is so crucial. What you tell it to do, it's going to go and do to the best of its ability. Now, that doesn't mean that if we don't get purchases from the sales to purchase objective that it's going after the wrong people. It means our ads need to get better. That's what we need to refine. Now, the problem with setting other objectives, awareness, traffic, engagement, and even the sales to another objective other than purchase, is that we can't really use that data. There's no point retargeting those people because they're literally the wrong people. Now, again, logic says, well, who are people that just go on window shop or just engage with ads and never actually purchase ever online? And I honestly can't answer that question. all I can answer is, with the tens of thousands we spent on testing these things, traffic to sales to purchase, sales to add to cart to sales to purchase, right? We've tested it over and over and over and over, and it proves it wrong in terms of the logic and the theory over and over and over and over as well. Okay, so this is just a long-winded explanation to say you must only do the sales to purchase objective when you're running your ads. Otherwise, the completely wrong people are going to come to your site. Okay, now that actually, if that happens, there's two bad things about that. One is that the data and the traffic that we've actually paid to acquire to our site are incorrect. They're useless. You can basically throw them out and say that they will never purchase. The second problem is that it meddles with our conversion rates. Now, I'm not saying necessarily it's a vanity metric of like we meddles with our conversion rates, but what it can make us falsely assume is that our conversion rate or the website conversion is a problem. Okay, but if you're driving masses of people to your site that aren't converting, again, logic will tell us that, oh man, I've got to fix my website. It needs to convert way better. This is wrong. You can spend your time in the wrong place. And that's purely just from incorrect data, incorrect intent of traffic coming to your site in the first place. So the first thing we solve for people in our program, and this is where people turn an absolute corner with their meta ads, when we check out their objective and the type of traffic they've been driving, and we flick that switch without changing anything else on site or even to do with the ads, honestly. They start to get sales through and the floodgates start to open, right? So when you've got the wrong data coming through, you just don't have the experience or the knowledge to know what I'm talking about here. It makes us look at other problems that aren't even problems. So we go and tinker with this and then the conversion rate drops even more. And it's just like creates this huge minefield, okay? So this is really important, especially when you start running ads, because when we are having a conversation about how we can help them. But we just need to make sure that that traffic is of the right intent so it doesn't meddle with other parts of the funnel, okay? So I just really want to emphasize this point. As I say, I felt it's so important to talk about the objective of the campaigns we're running with meta ads because of all the money I've wasted not knowing it, but also on testing as well and proving, as I say, even meta reps, but agencies and other people that just claim things that this is how you're supposed to run ads. And I'm honestly sick of it. I want to make sure that people know how to run ads properly if they're doing it themselves. We're all about empowerment with our paid program, the Ecom Blueprint, and it's just come from my experience, as I say, spending so much money and getting a lot of stuff wrong. So I want to help you guys, with that as much as possible. So that's the point I want to drive home. You need to have your objective right. Facebook and Meta are very, very good at doing what you tell them to do. And so you need to run a sales to a purchase objective with nothing else. If that's your objective, you want sales at the end of the day, no matter if you've got a brand new account or a 10-year-old account, you need to run that objective. All right. So just non-negotiable. You have to take my word for it. You have to even test yourself and see the differences between your past campaigns. All right. Because the data in your campaign, if you don't have that in your actual account, is going to be honestly useless. I'm sorry to say. It's the wrong people, the wrong intent, the wrong type of traffic or people that have actually been going to your site. So look, I hope that was valuable. It's a honestly really big missing piece with so many people that I see. And so get this right, try it, and just see your sales take off if your ads are of quality. And if they're not converting still, then it's your ad that needs to be looked at to get cheaper clicks on that objective of the sales to purchase objective, right? So look, I hope this was valuable for you. If it was, and you want to know what we do, feel free to click on the link below. It's just a bit about how we help e-commerce businesses scale to their first 10K or up to 100K per month. You don't have to click on it, but it's a bit more information about us and what we do, and obviously if you might be interested. But nonetheless, I hope this video was valuable for you. I'm creating stuff like this all the time. Please give a like and subscribe if you got value from it, and I'll be creating a lot more content moving forwards. And other than that, I wish you all the best, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. All right, cheers.